I always kind of wanted him to retire a Chief.
I ain't going nowhere, baby.
He's been that anchor, that game changer on defense.
I will be here this year, and the year after. Welcome back to the most professional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Berkeley, with my host today, Aaron. Go and say hi, Aaron.
And if you like our content, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons.
Yes, do that. But other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this video, we'll be taking a look at Chris Jones staying home where he belongs in Kansas City with our beloved Chiefs. And we could not be happier as fans to welcome him back into our home. Aaron, how are you feeling after receiving the news a couple days ago that Chris Jones is sticking around for not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 more years, at least according to his contract, which we will probably end up parting ways before the end of? How do you feel?
I mean, I'm ecstatic. I always kind of wanted him to retire a Chief.
I ain't going nowhere, baby.
He's been that anchor, that game changer on defense.
I will be here this year, and the year after.
He's the heart and soul of the team, other than Patrick and Travis, that core three. He's a very important player to this team.
Yeah, you might call it a big three of sorts. Chris Jones kind of been the staple of that defense throughout the dynastic run that the Kansas City Chiefs have displayed over the last 5+ years. Just been an absolute madman up front for that defense. Just causing chaos wherever he goes in backfields across America. And sometimes in Germany. But anyways, Chiefs,
sometimes Mexico.
Sometimes Mexico.
Right?
One time in Mexico, even. Do you think so? I kind of $95 million guaranteed, by the way, and becomes along with that whatever the full amount is. I'm not sure. I think it's somewhere around $140 million total over 5 years. I believe he becomes the highest paid defensive tackle in NFL history, which is incredible.
5 year, 159, pretty much.
Goodness gracious, $160 million. That's okay. It's a lot of money, but he's darn worth it. I mean, very rarely I feel like, do you see a consensus when he announced the extension, I didn't see a single person complaining about the money. I saw everybody was super happy to have him back. Nobody said we overpaid. Everybody said, which is crazy to see as fans, because typically it'd be like you'd see at least a little bit of the crowd that says, why the heck are you wasting so much money on him? That's way too much money. We need to put that elsewhere. And it was few and far between. You didn't see that very often when this happened, which just goes to show you how appreciated and loved he is by the Kansas City Chiefs faithful. I think we honestly, and maybe this discussion had already started before, but now definitely, especially if we can somehow finish off the three-peat this next year, Chris Jones has to be right up there as what, second greatest defensive player in franchise history, right behind Derek Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, if not already.
Right.
Just the longevity and the total impact he's had, bringing already, going for a three-peat.
Yeah, that's never...
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Already bringing 3 Super Bowls to the city, that's...
Yeah, going for a 4th now and more, something like stuff that as Chiefs fans we never even dreamt we'd see. Like we thought we'd be lucky to see a Super Bowl. And so for them to bring us 3 already, working on a 4th, maybe more, we as fans we couldn't ask for much more, and I think that kind of is another reason why so many people were um, happy to see that extension signed, regardless of what the price tag ended up being. Um, I think it was Trey Wingo tweeted out that uh, kind of a tongue in cheek thing, like remember kids, a Pro Bowl or All Pro level cornerback locks down one receiving threat, but an All Pro pass rusher locks down all the receiving threats. And that's kind of the feeling I had going into this offseason. I thought Chris Jones should have been the priority because at the end of the day, in this new era of football that we see, where you're passing the ball 50 times a game at the pro level, you need a pass rusher who can get there, get home, in clutch moments when it matters most, when the Super Bowl's on the line, when an AFC championship's on the line, and create some chaos and force either an incomplete pass or that sack. And that's what Chris Jones brings. So, um, this kind of is turning into a Chris Jones appreciation video because, and I think honestly he deserves it after his long, hard work as that face of the defense. Ever since Derek Johnson retired, he's been the face of the defense. Um, since Justin Houston left, he's been the face of the defense. Since Tamba Hali retired, he's been the face. Since Eric Berry had cancer, came back, and then retired, he's been the face. Chris Jones has been there for a while, not just the championships. He's been there through some low
Yeah.
times as well. Maybe not low times because we were making the playoffs, but we weren't making deep runs. So props to him for sticking around as long as he has and for signing a 5-year extension. I think this was the deal he was waiting on. What 3 years ago, back when we signed him to that extension, where he wanted like the really long term deal. I think we finally gave it to him, and I couldn't be happier. So, um, but enough of the sappy stuff. Let's look at some other big. Go ahead.
We got more work to do.
We got more work to do. We do have more work to do. Yes. And along with that, we've kind of taken some more steps forward, bringing back a big name. Well, not big name, but a key contributor in the Super Bowl run, Deion Bush. At safety, we signed him back on a 1-year deal, I believe. And then who was the D tackle you said that we had signed?
Herring.
Herring,
Malik Herring,
Malik
I
Herring.
think.
Uh, yeah. Along with that, I know I'd also mentioned that what I'd really like us to do. Yeah, Malik Herring. Um, one of the three in Wharton, Dana, and Noddy, I would really like us to bring back. I don't care which one. Bring back any of the three. I just want one of those two next to Chris Jones up front. And then you got Karloftis on one end and whoever the heck on the other. I can't remember right now.
Enrique Uzama or
Yeah,
Amenahu.
yeah,
Amenahu, I don't know if he's going to be ready by the beginning of the season next year.
yeah, because he got hurt. Um, but yeah, so I want one of those three guys next to Chris Jones at that D tackle position. It doesn't matter which one. I like all three of them. I think all three of them can get the job done. Um, Along with that, Drew Tranquil also re-signed with the Chiefs, so that was a big get back. Willie Gay signing with New Orleans, so we didn't assume that we were going to be able to bring him back. I'm not surprised that he signed somewhere else, especially after the news broke that we brought in Tranquil. It was obvious what decision we had made there. So him and Bolton back there should be good. Um, I wouldn't mind a little bit of improvement in the secondary because I don't know what Brian Cook's situation looks like returning from his injury. I know he got a pretty nasty injury last year, about halfway through the season, so I don't know what his timetable is. Bringing back Deion Bush was huge. I know Mike Edwards is still out. He may have signed with somebody else already. I'm not sure. Um, but what do you feel like's the positional need? Obviously, wide receiver, but we both, I think, assume we're going to address that in the draft. What do you think positionally our biggest need is right now, outside of obviously wide receiver, like I mentioned? Quick update. Obviously, the Chiefs also signed Hollywood Brown this past week um, to a 1 year, I think up to $11 million deal. So we'll have a video coming out more in depth talking about that here later this week. But did want to mention that yes, the Chiefs did obviously sign Hollywood Brown. So
Um, I mean, biggest need, honestly, is probably tackle. I know we've kind of got
mm,
some semi options, but I wouldn't mind a tackle, especially with kind of the struggles we had last year. Uh, yeah, I mean, obviously wide receiver. Um, it's probably a long shot to bring Snead back at this point, but
yeah,
like I said, I would much rather, kind of bring him back for one season, go all out for that three-peat,
I agree.
than not.
Yeah, I think franchise tagging Snead. The fact that you haven't heard anything really on the Snead front since they franchise tagged him almost tells me that we plan on just. And I mean, Snead hasn't claimed that he was going to sit out or anything, to my knowledge. So I would assume it's kind of going down that route where we're just going to play this year on a 1 year deal, and then at the end of the season, we'll go our separate ways, but hopefully you've helped us win 4 Super Bowls and 3 in a row, and we can leave on amicable terms. So that's kind of what it seems like it's going towards with Snead. Mahomes restructured his contract recently, freeing up $21 million. I expect us to address wide receiver in the draft. I could maybe see us going out and getting a smaller name dude in on the market as well. Glad we skipped out on the big paydays to like Mike Evans or I don't think we could have got Michael Pittman Jr. And honestly, if we could get Michael, that might have been the guy I would have been okay with us overpaying a little bit because Michael Pittman Jr. is nice. Um, but yeah, big story so far in Kansas City is Chris Jones signs the extension, and that Pat Mahomes just restructured, which more so probably because of the extension. So, you got anything else, Aaron? Or all right, well, that'll do it for this episode of the Most Unprofessional Sports Channel on YouTube. So, cheers, sports. I've been your host, Zach Zuckerberg Merkel. Here with my coach today, Aaron. Go and say bye, Aaron.
Bye.
All right, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Other than that, deuces.